Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Doug with PFC Brewing here. Doing this video actually a little bit earlier this week. If you haven't noticed, the last couple videos that I had came out Saturday, Sunday. So trying to get this guy out on Wednesday. So we'll see if that happens or not. Saturday, I did a double batch of 10 gallons. So that's 20 gallons total of beer. Had two 5-gallon batches of a oatmeal stout and two 5-gallon batches of a brown ale. As far as that goes, it's the first time I've ever done that. Things went pretty well. I had to do a lot of prep work beforehand. I had a problem with my pump. If you watch my other Homebrew Wednesday video from last week, which came out on Sunday, you'll see that I had the issue with my pump. I got that figured out. So that took up quite a bit of time. Spent a lot of time on Friday night messing with it, and I could not get it. Finally, on Saturday, after sleeping on it a little bit, I decided to grow a pair and take care of it the way I thought it needed to be taken care of. The other things that I did not get to do I planned on doing on Friday was milling my grains and everything else, but that didn't make it that big of a deal. So what I ended up doing was doing all that prep work early Saturday morning. Got up about 7 and was messing with that stuff. I didn't finish brewing until about, it was probably 7:30 or so that night, so it was a pretty long day. But all in all, everything worked out. Started the brown ale first, got through it, got everything put into the boil kettle. I do know that I need to get another burner if I'm going to do any more of this, because to heat my strike water for the mash, I couldn't start the boil on the brown ale yet. So I ended up getting the mash started for the oatmeal stout, and then I boiled the brown ale. And that caused a little bit of issue with the oatmeal stout, and that fact that it probably mashed well over 2 hours. Had a little bit, I started up on the high side, which would have made it a little bit sweeter, and then it slowly worked its way down to the drier side of things, so a lower temperature, which all in all, I think it'll turn out good. I think I definitely got the starches converted over into sugars and everything. So the brown ale here, if I look at my notes, a couple things I did do different than I normally do is I took out a little bit of the roasted barley. I only put an ounce of roasted barley in there. And this is kind of maybe more of a porter than a brown ale, but I always just call it my Doug's Brown Down Ale. It's got a big picture of the deer on the label of the bottle whenever I bottle it. So the other thing I did is I put a pound of biscuit malt in there, and where's it at? 4 pounds, 12 ounces of brown malt. That's pretty much what I had left. I was trying to use up some of these grains that I had laying around. Got a lot of grains laying around there. Used up some Hallertau hops in there. Probably not the best hops to be using for it, but just trying to use some of that stuff up so it doesn't go to waste. I think usually it creates good beer. So moved on to the oatmeal stout. So I call this one my smoked oatmeal camping stout. Got well, first off, before we move on to that, the post-boil gravity was 1.061 for that guy. So it's a little bit higher than I normally make it. So that's probably going to be about a 8% beer. Moving on to the oatmeal stout. I call it my smoked oatmeal camping stout. This should be really good for deer seasons and whatnot. A couple things I changed with this was I put a pound of smoked malt in there. Again, I had that just sitting there for a long time, never used it, so I figured why not use it. And that's about it for that guy. Used up some of the Hallertau hops in there as well. That really doesn't take too much hops at all. So I got this guy. Yeah, so this guy came out at 1.0526. So that is all good. I'll show you some after I get done talking here. I'll show you some video of the fermentation and maybe some video of the brew day if I can find some decent clips of that. So I probably want to try to get this video out more or less as like a brew day video. So I'm really thinking about trying to do a how I brew series, basically showing people the way I do things. These are the steps. Try to be very thorough with each step. Maybe just maybe a 5-minute video on how I make a yeast star, a 5-minute video on how I do my mash, 5-minute video, well, probably not a 5-minute video, but a video on how I mill my grains and how I prep for brew day and how I create recipes and stuff like that. Just put that in a whole series and just have a bunch of, this is how I do it. So that maybe somebody can get an idea on how I've been doing my things. So I'm going to try to get these guys into a contest that's going to be taking place, the judging is December 12th. So I got to get these beers in sometime in the middle of November. Might be a little bit more difficult to do, but I think, especially since these guys are a little darker, they may not be as well judged, but I'm going to try to put them in there anyways. I want to put the pale ale in there. Maybe if I do the pumpkin part of it, I'll do that as well. And if I can, I'm going to put one of those pale ale on some pumpkin, see how that tastes. I'll try to do that either tonight, tomorrow. I'll have to see if I can get some pumpkin. I heard there's a little shortage this year. But, yep, that's pretty much all I have. Stay tuned for some additional footage. Cheers, guys. I don't have a homebrew because I'm doing this at lunch because no kids are at the babysitter right now. Things have been a little hectic. One of these days you'll see me on camera with a homebrew very, very shortly, I hope. Cheers. Here we are in the messy fermentation room. So I decided not to use that guy. I got the 2 browns going in the back. Probably should have used the little guy. There is my airlock, and you can kind of see the stuff draining down there. But these guys are just chugging away. Like I said, that's the brown. And here's the stouts with the Irish ale yeast. '64, '65 for the cement temperature. And I'm sure once you get in there, it's higher than 67. So, kind of shows you that that temperature is going to be a lot different. And here we go with the 2 pale ales. They're still sitting at 65, 66. But that's all I have. Cheers.